Hey folks.
Hello everyone. Welcome. This is the very first session I'm organizing from Azure Developer Community Bilaspur, and the session is called Microsoft Azure Cloud. I am Isha Narang, host for Azure Developer Community Bilaspur, and with us today we have Vishwas Narayan, and I want him to introduce himself today. So, hi Vishwas, welcome.
Hey folks, this is me, Vishwas Nana. I'm from Bangalore, and to be very frank, I'm a kind of a guy who is in the middle of like academic journey as well as a professional one. I want to move to professional, but like academics just pulls me back in. So that's a kind of a journey that I have right now. So over a course of time, what I thought of like, okay, this is an unplanned session from my side. So what I thought of like, okay, fine, let's just do one thing. Let's just build the tempo in such a way that how was I in my first year as an EC grad? Of course, I'm not a CS grad, by the way. Don't get confused. I'm not a CSE guy. I'm an EC person. So went in with a dream of selling silicon, and now I'm like, screw the silicon part. I'm gonna sell software for my living for the rest of my life. That's my journey, and over a course of time, like just wanted to find a purpose in my life. Started a podcast, and it's just going good. I'm just interviewing a lot of folks, so you can subscribe to my channel, Vishwas Narayan. So my name itself. So yes, you can find my name and my channel still the same. So let's just build a tempo, right? Isha, I just want you to just say what was your first experience when you heard the word called as cloud. I'll just share my screen, but like later on we'll get it up. Like I just want to know what was your first experience when you entered the world of cloud. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Hi. So very first experience was the one that we started using the HTML thing only, and then I built my first website. So that was like the very first experience.
Yeah, like it starts with that journey only, right? Everybody, we don't know where we are heading towards, but we really want the journey
Exactly.
to happen fine and
Exactly.
good. This is what we want, right? This is what we actually build towards, right? You might build AI systems for today's world, but tomorrow it's all about like how do you adapt quicker, scale quicker, and make it more accessible for the folks who are there in the world of AI. Like, you know, there is a good amount of things which are really coming up in the world of cloud. So let's just demystify. I think I've shared my screen. You can bring the screen up. I think I'll just start with my LinkedIn post that I did yesterday. So some people say that, right, hey, you know what, DevOps is this, DevOps is that. I think make it in half the screen so that like the second one, the one next to it, so that I can be conversing with a lot of folks. Nisha can be talking in and things like that. So yep, that's perfect. So I think this was my post about Netflix, right? Netflix to me, Hotstar to me is not an OTT platform at all. Like I really don't care about their shows. I really don't care about their journey in the world of entertainment. But to me, if you see me Hotstar, Medium, scaling for 25 million people, 25 lakhs or 25 million people. Like this to me is the best journey that I could ever actually witness. It's like 2.5 crore people watching at one given point of time. That's, oh my God. That's crazy amount of number of people that I think 25 million, 25 into 10 to the power 6. So 25 into 10 lakhs is what you get, right? That's what I'm talking about. So that much amount of people coming in and scaling in for the different needs and different use cases. That's where the cloud really comes into the picture. Like it's all about like how do you adapt quicker, how do you scale quicker, how do you make it more accessible, more adaptable to the new things. So this is where the journey of it. So Hotstar to me, Netflix to me is not a great thing. So if you just say Devhan, Netflix, just go ahead, waste your life seeing this thing. I'm not even joking. Just make sure that you waste your time seeing this thing. Because a lot of times when you think, hey, Netflix was a company which just evolved from DVDs, selling DVDs to making sure that they come to an OTT platform, just just forget the fact that they evolved as a business company, which is just the operations. Of course, that's a case study on its own. But the way that DevOps evolved in the world of Netflix, I think that's pretty awesome. I think this one talk from Infoc, I think it's all about the microservices. It's all about not this one. This is not that. There was another talk in Netflix on Netflix. Mm, Microservices. I still don't remember the title of it. Yep, Mastering Chaos and Microservices. Yep. Just go ahead, spend your time and just learning about this entire technology here. Like, you will really understand what's the thing called as chaos engineering, right? Once you have something as in chaos in your life, like you'll be like, hey, my life is done. I'm just done with all the things that is just happening here. I'm like blah blah blah. Nah, it's all about like how do you just come in and just do all your work so quick and easy, and that's where all these kind of technology comes in. Keep this in mind over a course of time when you think of and hundreds of use cases. It's going to be pretty amazing to one extent, but you should not screw up at one given point of time. So make sure that your journey falls in the right track. I think it's too long. I think just go to my LinkedIn, just see my post. It will be there. I think I'm just sharing you this so you guys can go ahead and see this, because a lot of times it's also about like where can you find the best of the best resources. I think my LinkedIn post does that. So it's not about me promoting myself, but I'm just giving it. So yes, add your credit card 99999. This decline. That's always there. I'm actually updating one of my Windows 11 system today, so that's why it's too much of chaos here. So I'm actually going through. So this is what you do as a DevOps engineer, right? You have different environments and things like that. And now about the problem statement, there are hundreds and hundreds of problem statement which come up, right? You can't really do what is it all about when you're thinking about it. So I've talked about DBS Bank talks about it, like the talks which I saw and the way I started perceiving about the problem statement. This is how I feel that this approach probably is just going to make you a step a little closer to your dreams, because a lot of times when you dream of something in the world of cloud, it probably need not have to be the best, right? But you can reach out to some best things. So I think I made some repositories of it. Just go ahead and just start running. And now coming back to what is cloud, let me just say you one thing. CMD, if I just do ping google.com, it just gives me an IP, it just has some bits and bytes of data which is moving in and out. And just look at the fact that this is an simple internet protocol, and now it's working as fine as possible. Like it's like as easy as me going ahead to one of my GitHub repositories. I think it's here. I think I don't have to just give my password. I know my password. All right. So what I did is chaos engineering actually. Right now I just did chaos engineering. What if I had pressed show my this thing? So it would have been very bad, right? This is what I'm talking about. So in one of my website, it's a reactor file website. I think I've done a lot of Docker containers and things like that. It's a simple thing. It's basically you're abstracting those layers of compute and you're just educating yourself in the right way. Like, how can I decrease the cost, decrease the workload on my computers? And this is where the technology evolved. Let me just show you one of my GitHub pages that just happened on this website only. And this was just that website. And if I change some code here, it automatically gets reflected on this site as well, right? So let me just go ahead, grab this thing up, and let me just do ping again. Ping, Vishwas. And so just look at the fact that, it can't be reached. For us, let me just do like this first. So just look at the fact that there is an IP which is coming in, right? I don't think so. There will be an profile that I built based on my website, but I can show you this. So it just says that, hey, this site is not working because I didn't write an readme.md saying that Vishwas Narayan 1234567 or something like that. So this is what I'm talking about, right? You're just connecting those computers in a form of an IP. And if I just do this IP, though it has just been pinged, it has already received a good amount of traction from my side. I just do this and just look at the fact that that IP got converted into google.com and the SSL certificate just got done right in front of you. So keep this in mind. It's just some stupid computers which are just connected to some network interface card. That's your NIC in cloud computers. So it's a network interface card. There's a lot of things that is coming up. So cloud servers. It's a network interface card. So interface card. Sorry for that. I was not prepared for that. So interface cards. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So you have a virtual NIC which is just connected, but network interface card for the cloud is something which is having its own IP, which just says, hey, this computer has this amount of IP, and if you hit on it, there are a lot of things. So again, it's not about that itself, and there are something called as ports in computer. So it's also about like which port of a computer gets access to which application. So to be very frank, there's 65535 ports, 65535 ports in a computer which is actually working. Right now, the same old cloud computer that I'm talking about, as well as the same old laptop that I'm working right now, still has the same old 65535 ports. And this is gold standard. Keep this in mind, because all the time when the computer just evolves into a different things, right? We talk about virtual machines in the future. We talk about something like containers. We talk about something like function apps and things like that. So it's all about the same old computer, but it evolving in a different form factor. So keep this in mind. Everything will be in your hand. So this is how it is. This is how you reach out to a computer and say that, hey, I have written some code. I have written some sort of an functionality in such a way that the data has to come and sit in one of my system. And what do you want to do with it? I want to learn a lot about it. So I just want to make sure that I get the best out of it. So what do? You connect the IP-based computers and you just do it. So let's say, okay, this is another thing, right? If you just do ping, it doesn't work. If I do this, probably it might work. Or else it might just redirect me to github.com. So let's just go and do that. That's not a problem. So github.com now has an IP of 13 something, right? So this is the IP that I'm looking forward to. So let me just go and grab that. And probably this is just going to give me github.com, right? Oh, it says connection is private. That means that it's much more secure, right? It's all about like, where can I get this IP starting and working? Probably internet was not able to find it, or else it's been more secure that I'm not able to access it. So this is what I'm talking about. So it's always in the form factor of an IP. You mask it through some DNS lookups and things like that. So keep this in mind. And now let's just go to something called as a slide. I think probably I can show you one of my slides which I have, but let's just go ahead and just work on it. All right. I think just a lot of things that I can say about it. So just understand, this is what a computer and a cloud computer is all about. It's just IPs which is working in different form factor. That's it. Simple as that. And now you talk about something like, how did we evolve from having and procuring a server on site to just relying on some other computer which is there in some other region, and we are computing through all these kind of chaoses. So very simple. There are different topics which come up. There are based of swarms of computers which are coming into the picture, but let's just go ahead and let's just say what is it all about it. So when you talk about an OS is a file system, right? Is OS a file system? Yes, it's a part of a file system which has some programs written in C, C++, Java, or something. And now it's working fine on my system. That means that this computer is capable of handling such kind of a file system and making sure that it works fine. But now industry wanted something beyond it, right? They wanted to adapt quicker, scale faster. They want to make it more accessible to the people who are like, let me just say tomorrow hardware prices go up and go down, but to me, I should not get triggered by the fact that I am not having an ample amount of hardware, right? So that's going to be a flaw to me. So right now what happened was industry saw that need, and of course AWS was the pioneer. AWS, I think July something, AWS was launched in the year 2006. I think it's July or something. August. I don't know. Some say different sources, but August something. Let's just keep it in mind. So then came Azure, then came GCP, and all the other companies. You can see that here, right? Like next 20, Alibaba came in, Fujitsu, Oracle. There's a lot. So I think market has a different strategy. I think IBM, Google, they have their own way of working. I think Microsoft is actually leading in terms of the public cloud vendorship. I think that's what we are talking about, right? So now they saw that, okay, it's a file system which is working the same way on my system. Let's just improvise it and let's just virtualize it, right? I have the same set of hardware. How can I effectively use it? So virtual machines came into the picture. What is a virtual machine? A simple introduction for it. I think I can give two introduction right now, but let's just go with the virtual machines. Then we'll go with a little bit of an explanation for the hypervisors. Then we can go ahead with some other topics as well, like containers and the things like that. So now if you can see that, it's an entire infrastructure, which is your entirely a computer with a hard disk connected, network interface card connected, and a lot of hardware complexity in this layer, which is fine. But what happened was they saw that if I just install an OS on this entire infrastructure, it's going to be a waste of time because some application has different binaries and libraries which are supposed to be installed. And the guest OS also is not sufficiently being used in the entire infrastructure. Let's say, okay, only 1% of the infrastructure gets used, 99% of the infrastructure is wasted, right? So now that's where hypervisors comes into the picture. So to be very frank, there is type 1, and let me just go orange. Wait, I will go orange and I can say type 2. So what's a type 1 and a type 2 hypervisor? Let's just go a little later, but let's just go ahead and understand what is it all about when you're talking about hypervisors. So simple explanation, an hypervisor is something which just distributes your hardware finitely for different applications. So if that amount of hardware was not required for that application, it just breaks it and says that, hey, you don't have an authority to use it. So just go ahead and just make sure that you just use it to a complete extent. And that's where we are talking about, right? Like something like you want to use this hardware more effectively, and that's where you are actually using these kind of infrastructure. Simple as that. Let's just go, what are the types of hypervisors? Types of hypervisors. So it's type 1 and type 2, right? Let's just talk about it. It's not hypervisor, but let's just go ahead. So a type 1 hypervisor is very simple. On a hardware layer, there is a hypervisor on which you can have multiple amount of OSs installed on it. So I can give you an example of ESXi, VMware ESXi servers. course, bare metal type 1. Yep. It's a type 1 hypervisor which you can start working on it. We tried doing this on a Jetson Nano and we toasted around, like, I can say around like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks basically on just getting to know what is it all about when you're just working on hypervisors. It was completely a chaos for us. We didn't know what was in a VMware solution and things like that. We have faced a lot of chaos, by the way. Like, that's what it is all about. So it's a simple thing. On a hardware layer, there is a software abstraction layer which guides the hardware in such a way that it gets used more effectively. And that's where hypervisors comes into the picture. And ESXi is one of them, where you are just having a software abstraction layer which is just having an entire hardware information, and thus it's just distributing that hardware according to the requirement. This is what it is. But now your type 2 hypervisors are very simple. You can say VirtualBox as a type 2 hypervisor. Yes, it's a type 2 hypervisor, because what do you do when you have an hypervisor like this? Very simple. You have an OS, like I have a Windows OS now. Like I can just show you how to do that, but it's going to take a little bit of more time, so I can't explain containers and other concepts, right? So let's just move a little faster and quicker. So very simple. You have an hardware layer, that's your laptop, on which I'm now running in Windows 10, and my computer next to me is running in Windows 11 right now. So yep, I can show you that thing. It's running at Windows 11 right now. So it's a different hardware, a different software abstraction layer that you're talking here, but it still has the same old thing, right? It has Windows OS running on it. And now I can install a VirtualBox on it, and I can install as many OSs as I want. And if you want, you can have VMware on it. If you want, you can have one more set of a VirtualBox. Actually, that's impossible to one extent, because hardware abstraction just has their own virtualization and the concepts. So if you think of how to evolve in the world of cloud, it's very simple. Just go ahead and just grab that knowledge of the basics. That's just going to give you a lot of edge for the tomorrow's problem statement. Like, if you find there's something just going wrong, just go back to the basics. You are good to go anywhere. So this is where hardware and the software layer comes into the picture. Let me just show you one book, actually 2 books, by the way. Let me just come back, folks. I'll say one thing. All right. So I'm an EC folk. I have a book on VLSI. I have some set of books which are pretty much good, pretty much bad if you are not a person who just requires all these kind of abstractions. So let me just get one more book. Not robotics, not computer science, but let's just go ahead and grab an embedded system book.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, in between, but your voice is a little bit low. Can you please look into the matter?
Oh God. I've lost embedded system. All right. I don't think so. I have an embedded system book here. Let's see where do I have an embedded system. Okay, wait, folks. I'll just come back here right now. Oh God. Books everywhere. Wait. Where's my AI and ML book? Is it lost? All right, it's here. Simple as that. I can explain you that. Simple as that. So let me just go ahead. Let me just grab some things. I think I can stop my share screen, and I can give you an instance about what do you want to do. So I would say start with this book. This is a book on computer architecture. which just gives you as much as insights as you get by reading this book, Ion Somerville. And there was one more part two of it. I lost it. I'll say why, because lately I used to just give away some books and I gave it to some guy, it talks about software architecture in that book, but this is solely about software engineering. So this book starts from how to write a code for this, as well as C programming, a lot of other things. And this gives you a lot of insights about, like, hey, what should I do when I enter an industry? And this has an crazy amount of it. I think it has 6 units. 6 units, I think so, because it's been very long since I touched this book, to be very frank, but no, I think it's not about 6 books here. I think it's a collection of 6 books, but it has 4 units. And I think the other 2 units were that software architecture book. So what you do is you write your software for this. So this is a CMOS VLSI, right? So this book is something which is near and dear to me. You can see that it's already a little torn some places, but it still smells great. Just go ahead, grab this book if you're an AC folk. Like, this says the story of IBM, why they lost their money on PCs, and they will just give you an insight about VLSI and the things like that. So everything that is written by the folks who have read this book will be architected with respect to this book, will be architected as in software engineering with respect to this book. And what you have as an shiny looking product is this. So this is where your software architecture and everything just evolves over a course of time. So keep this in mind. It's just simple basic concepts evolving as it. So let me just share my screen. Let's just go ahead and let's just start working. I can share you one of my slides. I think I have pretty much good amount of resources. So let's just go ahead. So let me just sign in so that I can go to my slides. So yes. Oh, right. Righty. Gmail.com. I can't show you this password. Okay, I'll stop my share screen and I'll add it again. So keep that in mind. All right. So I'll get my notification of sign in. So I think I can share my screen. Top active participants. I think Ishan Orang is here. So I think Shivansh is here. So wait, folks, we can go ahead. We can start running. I think you can see that there is a notification which is already coming up on my phone, which says that, hey, you know what? Can you confirm that, you just logged in into some Windows 10 system? And it says yes. And I press yes. And it's just processing. And it just happened. You can see that, this is how the work culture is also in. If you go for any of the things. So Google Slides, let me just go ahead and just grab some. Go to slides, and you will find that why I'm talking more specific towards containers, right? Like, we talk a lot in terms of container scanning. God, I think a lot of things. Oh man, these slides. How many slides? God, I've lost the count of the slides that I've done. Sorry for that, folks. All right, if I find it somewhere, oh God, microservices. God, man, how many slides have I done? Just in brief, the basics. I don't know. So I think I can share my slides here so that you guys will get to know what is it all about that I'm talking here. All right. Yeah. I still have it. Perfect. So yeah, it's all about like how to not have chaos and everything. So what I was talking is just that hardware evolving, right? So function as service, Kubernetes, Borg and Omega, blah blah blah. Now we are DevOpsifying it. Containers, different services, DevOps, this, services, this, they are the same. What you have is a cloud infrastructure that will be in a different form factor. The load balancer will be something that will be going through. Even though you deploy it in a form of a web app, backend, it's all about like compute. So this is all about it. So wait. So let's just go ahead and just get it. So it was all about like, that thing, what I talked in terms of a virtual machine is an infrastructure as a service. And this is what it used to happen, right? It used to be a wasted amount of compute. And virtual machines are this. You can look at this entire infrastructure. So containers are like, they know that there is an available space, right? And now this is what we started doing. So we have a server, we have an host OS, just like your Windows, Linux, or anything. And now we have a Docker engine with just as quick as your entire hardware infrastructure. So it's basically like you just remove the entire fancy looking OS and you just add a file system, and the Docker engine churns up that process and gives you the same old application as good as your OS. So if you just add a Linux file system, it just works the same way. If you add a Windows file system, it works the same way, right? That's what Docker engine is all about. And now you have an available space and you can start scaling up accordingly. And this is what it is, folks. I think, yeah, I got the basic slides. Yep. You guys can go start using this. Oh, sorry for sharing that IP. Oh, it was restricted. Oh yeah, like a lot of people just keep used to just push out the content. So I was like, okay, I just wanted to restrict it for a while. So here's the link. I think Varun will share it. So this is the link which has an entire infrastructure of it. So just go ahead. So what I just explained was you have a Docker engine and that's just running, right? I can show you the demo as well. So simple as that. I have a Docker desktop running on my system, and this is a Docker engine at the end of the day. And there are different form factors to it. You can use Rocket, Docker, anything which helps you to run the containers. So I think you guys can also use the serverless slides. Serverless. When did I last update it? I would have copied some things, blah, blah, blah. All right, if you want to know what is a function as a service, this is what it is. So functions are all about like programs. Then onwards, you have a reusable compute space, which is more effective. This is more effective, but which is more costly. This can be more costly. Just imagine you have an entire system of code which is not optimized to run exactly on to the required stage, right? Just bloat it up. Just bloat this up and you will understand like, hey, one function is taking a huge set of compute and it's just taking more amount of time. So if you look at the pricing models of any of the cloud infrastructure, it's all about the execution time, right? That execution time is just going to be much more fancier here if you have a very unoptimized code. So it's all about the code. So less amount of the plumbing, more amount of the business propagation that is being talked here. So if you are a person like, hey, I don't care about the money that I'm going to spend and things like that, don't worry, just shell out some money. You will be rich after some time. So I think 29 December last year, God, it's been 3 months. I've not looked at this. Yeah, this is pretty awesome, man. And to be talking about this book, the software engineering, it's all about like how are we just going to do it. So just start taking this innate new start, deploy, publish. These have their own functionalities, and they are just bounded with some function apps and the things like that, right? So this is a command if you want to run function apps on using the command prompts, right? Func init, func new, func start, func deploy, func publish is what you do. So just just compare it with git init, git add, git commit, vagrant init, terraform init. GitHub Actions also still works the same way, right? It's all about the start, publish, deploy. All these functionalities still remains the same. That's the beauty of it. So software engineering is not that complex. It's still the same old functionality. It's still the same old nuts and the bolts that you are just working towards. But it's all about that mindset that you get inside with, and that's what software engineering is all about. So over a course of time, I just tried to compress all the things. So let's just go ahead and just do some demos. So okay, so now there's a Docker engine which is working absolutely fine. It doesn't require an login or anything. We can just go ahead, we can start working towards it. So let me just CLS, clear screen, and let me just do Docker. And if you have not installed Docker onto your system, this doesn't start working. At least there's a blinking cursor and things like that, but this will not start working until and unless you don't have a Docker installed. So let's just do CMD again, and let's just do Docker again. It will start working the same old way, right? This is how Docker engine is. You have an host OS, and in which you have a Docker engine running, and that's where you just have that abstraction layer just going ahead. So there are different commands to it. Docker build -t, blah blah blah. Dot is just saying that hey, the Docker file, a manifesto file which just says what is the amount of files that I need, what is this and that I require. Everything will be in one place. So keep that in mind. So in that manifesto file, you just define a base image that will be your OS file system, which will be in a form factor of a container, and then you just add the code and things like that. So I'll just give you a simple demo of Docker run -d -p -p 80 is to 80. So I'll explain you what is happening. Docker run is still going to be the same old command that is used for running it, but this just says that hey, run it in a detached mode. Just toggle the application. If it just breaks, just keep running it again and again on the same old port. And this says port, this says toggle, this says detach. So I'll just text it up so that you guys can understand it. So toggle, and this is port. So this is what it is. And I'm defining an 80 port here. I'm just saying that, hey, on this computer, work on 80 port, even on that entire container that's just going to work as good as in computer itself, open the 80 port for communicating. And that's what I'm doing right now. And now it's something called as Vishwas Narayana Ari/Vishwas. And it will just say that, hey, unable to find the image locally. And I'm now going to just update it from that Docker hub. What is it all about? It's just full access denied. Oh, all right. So I need to log in. So I can do Docker login. It will just say username, Vishwas Narayana Ari. Let's see if the password works. Unauthorized. All right. All right. I don't know, folks. I've really forgotten my passwords. I need to just check it. If not, we'll just show you how it's working. All right. It's just too bad for me. I have forgotten my. I can do Docker pull. I can do Docker search. Kali. So yeah, Kali rolling is here. So I'll do Docker pull Kali Linux, and it now pulls the latest image. I don't know why it didn't come up. Vishwas Narayana Ari. Okay. Sorry, I was making some typos here. That's it. Simple as that. So the beauty about it is I can run it anywhere. So Vishwas Narayana Ari. That's Vishwas. I think this actually should work. So this is the same old command, Vishwas Narayana Ari / Vishwas. So it's the Docker hub, and this is the container. So yep, Docker hub, and this is the container. All right. So let me just take it here. So this is Docker hub. This is the. All right. No, it's now asking me like, hey, can you give an access to an complete infrastructure? Yes, go ahead, access it, buddy. That's what I said it. All right. So unable to find pull complete. And if I do Docker ps -a, it now says, okay, so there's a local host port running. So I think whatever you just learned in that reactor file demo, I think that will be working here. So local host to 80. Yep, that's the same old container that is working right now here. So this is the same old thing, folks. So what just worked on a website just works as good as on my system as well. So that's what I'm talking about. So I was running Kali in one, and now I was running one here, right? So I think the updates are done. So I can do Docker run -ip Kali Linux. Kali Linux. All right. Rolling. So it will now give me a Kali Linux system. So I didn't install Linux on my Windows system, but it's now working as good as in Linux. So that's the beauty of it, folks. So this is what I was talking about. Cloud is not complex, but we are making it a little bit complex because we are not learning it the right way, and we are not approaching it the right way. And I think a lot of slides, a lot of resources that I can share. So best part, make some bad habits the best habits of yours. So just go to Archive, just say cloud computing research paper. Sorry for that typo. Cloud computing research paper, and you get a plethora of research papers which just says how can I work the best. And if you want with respect to years, it will just be there for you. Just go ahead, just start running as much as you want, and this is the best that you can do. And I think some more bad habits, you can go to sign in with Google. Yep, I did that. So there is something called as Archive on Twitter. So just go ahead, grab this. You will have a good amount of content. Just follow as much as you can. Like, just go ahead and follow whomever I have followed also. That will be the best thing. I think if you are a deep learning person, there is an amazing Twitter handle called as Deep AI. And I think that really is like the masterpiece for any person that you can really think about. Like, they give the best of the best papers out for you so you can start learning. In fact, you can teach some more folks how to learn from these papers as well. So you can go ahead and check out all these resources that are given here. So these are the best of the best that I could reach out to in the industry, and that's what it is all about. So what I just showed was a demo of a container. So I think we can do a demo on a function app if we had an what do you call the portal and the access for it. We can do that tomorrow. I think there's a session on logic apps. We can do that, or else do one thing. My account is this. Just go to my channel. Just go to my channel. 1.1K. All right. 100 subscribers added, folks. So, yeah. So, simple as that. Just go to a section called as My Webinars. And in that My Webinars, there are best of the best resources that I was able to deliver is right here. So, you guys can think about it. Like, whichever I was able to find in internet, I've just added it here. I think probably I'm going to add this one here as well. Yes. Let me just go to Azure Developer Community. So hi to yourself. So we can start learning about it. So Azure Cloud Platform. Sorry for that. Like I can't really add much weightage to it because I don't have a complete introduction for it. But whatever I just gave you was just an introduction for the cloud. So cloud is not that complex. You just do the same old thing in a different form factor. So keep that in mind. Work harder. Follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you can find. So find some best resources and we can learn something new. And sorry for not having an Azure portal today. I'll show you what happened to my Azure account. So my subscription now, as soon as I entered the session, I was not able to find my subscription. And that to me was pretty shocking. So yes, so I think you can go to any of my talks that I've given. It's just the same old thing, the same old concepts that I'll be talking. So my subscription is actually removed. So I don't have an access to it today, but tomorrow I'll be having an access to it. So past sponsorship has already been taken away from me. So it's not there today. That's what it is. So that's it from my side, folks. And if you have any queries, questions, please do reach out to me. I think Ritik Mishra, sorry for that. You also lost your password. Can't help, man. So we just did some demos. We just was able to just do some things. And this is what cloud is. Cloud, don't make it complex because it's going to be easier if you just understand the same old computer in the form of a network interface card and the things like that. So thank you so much, folks. And thank you so much, Isha Narang, for hosting me today.
Thank you for coming, Vishwas. It was a great session. I hope everybody got insights. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you so much, folks.
Yeah, it was an amazing session, really. No issues. So now finally the time comes when we are here to give Azure passes worth $100 to all the active participants here.
First, give it to me, please. Tomorrow I have a session on logic apps.
Yeah, no issues. Surely you will be getting, you are the lifesaver. So we will definitely give you, you are the mentor. So no issues. To all the attendees who are here, can you please tell me how excited you are to get the Azure passes worth $100? Kindly put that in the comment section. We are watching it. And if you have any other queries, you can please put them in the comment section. It's more important. If you have any queries, kindly put them in the comment section. There's no issue. You can join our Discord channel as well to get notified about other upcoming events and boot camps. And as well as we are conducting quizzes regularly, so you can come play with us, and you can also, all the winners of that quiz are getting a merchandise from Microsoft. So sometimes learning can be rewarding as well. There's no issue, so come join us. And if there is any other doubt, you can kindly put them in the comment section, or you can personally ask these all the doubts to our mentor on LinkedIn. He'll be more than happy to help you. So now finally the wait is over. Let me share the link. This is the LinkedIn link of Azure Developer Community. I would request you to kindly ping us there. and we'll share you a form where you can fill that form, and then you'll be eligible for getting the Azure passes. So no issues. Let's wrap up with the session if the audience is having no doubts. Yeah.
Archive Cloud community is different. Archive is an entire repository for research papers. That's what I was talking about. So it's not Archive Cloud Computing. So Archive Cloud Computing is just a topic inside the Archive repository of the papers. So you can just go ahead, just start getting in the open source papers from the amazing scientists in the all around the world, and you can just get an access. So that's what Archive Cloud Computing was all about. So you can also get the best of the best resources on ML, DL, CV, whatever it is. So it will be there for you.
So I hope there are no more doubts. You guys can kindly ping us on this LinkedIn. First of all, you need to send the connection request, and then you will be able to send the messages. So ping us there, and surely we'll give you the Azure passes worth $100. And to all those who don't know what is the use of these $100 pass, so let me tell you, to run anything, you need to pay some fees, or you need to pay some charges to the cloud provider, which is here Azure. So for a student, it's very hectic to give such a huge amount to the provider. So you can use these passes, you can redeem these passes which are being provided, and then you can use them and build some amazing projects which you can showcase in your CV. You can show them to your college folks, and you can also take them and showcase them to your interviews as well. You can host, and there is a lot more coming scope in the cloud computing, so you can use these passes, make some amazing projects, and using this cloud computing services, and it's going to be fun. So I've
I
sent you the
learned I learned cloud computing this way only, folks. So please
yeah.
understand the value of it.
And you all know that what is the importance of doing the things practical. You cannot just grab the things theoretically, you need to do a hands-on session. It was a basic session, but still our mentor did his best to showcase the hands-on things as well. So thank you, Vishwas sir, for coming here and delivering this session, and thank you guys for being
Sure.
such a lovely audience and bearing with us. So see you next time with another interesting session with our mentors. So till then, stay safe. Good night. Tata. Bye bye.
Yep.